Panic stations, Kingy, for the Pies.
Panic stations?
Yep.
Tell me more.
Well, they looked physically horrible last night. Like just the way that Hawthorn were covering the ground. It looked like a bunch of athletes in their prime versus a bunch of athletes that are washed. That's what it looked like to me.
Not a 5-day break?
Yeah, but Hawthorn, it wasn't a long break for Hawthorn, was it? And Collingwood don't really travel much at all. So, you factor the travel factor in for Hawthorn as well in a pretty bruising, brutal game against Adelaide where pressure was high. So I don't give them that out. They look really vulnerable once again with their defensive six who are all at sea. Like Darcy Moore, you would love to play on Darcy Moore. If you're playing against Collingwood and you're a key forward, your eyes would light up. Same goes for Frampton. So what was it, 8 or 9 marks inside 50 alone in the second quarter for Hawthorn. And now they've lost 4 of their last 5 and their only win is against Richmond. I thought there would have been a response last night. There wasn't. I'm not sure they're physically capable of a response.
Wow, that's damning. Look, their speed is out of the team. So McCreary and Hill cover so much of their midfield lack of speed. And when they're not there, and Dacos is clearly playing impacted and injured, didn't train all week, and we just saw the depths of their lack of speed in the midfield last night. And they were made to look silly by a team that was up for the fight. We'll start with Hawthorn because I think that we have to celebrate what they were able to do. So there's some games you just have to find a way to win. Mm-hmm. And they played really well last week against the Crows and didn't get the result. They went with something different with the 4 tools. We've joked about that, but it is working. It just continually brought the ball to ground in the forward 50, and Watson was at his best early. And that's what you need. You need your energy bringers to hit the scoreboard early and get the crowd involved and give a little bit of spunk to the team. They're a team that thrive on energy. They're a bit like Port Adelaide to me.
Yep.
If they can get up and going early, you're in trouble. Although their leaders were outstanding. Newcomb, Sicily, Gunston's still doing it. I really like what Barras and Battle have given down back, that stability. And they're seasoned campaigners. They're not young players at all. So we're expecting them to play like that most weeks. So the leadership battle, Hawthorn versus Collingwood, they smacked them.
Hardwick was terrific as well.
Yep.
He did the job on Jamie Elliott. So you're right, Dylan Moore, with the more midfield minutes that he got, the hardest working one of players in football. So, but their pressure and their game has been in pretty good order. And that's why I was so impressed by what I saw against Adelaide last week. And people saying, you keep talking about Hawthorn and they lost. But they were really good last week.
No, last week you were carrying on about, Will Day this, Will Day that, and Weddle this, Weddle that. It's not who. Sometimes
I could not have been more complimentary of what I saw from Hawthorn last week, to the point where I had people ringing up the radio.
You take the best teams out of this team, and you take the best out of this team.
Clearly, 2 of their best 5.
Yeah, but
and so to perform like that
doesn't mean you
without
can't
that,
win. This is the discussion we had last week.
They're leading Adelaide at 3/4 time in Adelaide and coughed up 3 to 4 stoppage goals. I thought that was fixable and correctable, and clearly it was last night. So I still think they're probably one dynamic gun midfielder short. I still think that's going to leave them a little bit vulnerable when it comes to it, and Will Day is clearly that player. But their game's been pretty good. Apart from their midfield numbers, everything else is in good order, and we saw that last night. They smashed them, and physically, Collingwood just couldn't go.
You're a Bill Simmons fan.
I am.
Are they a good bad team or a bad good team? I think this is a great discussion, and I want to go through the ladder with you at some stage in the next couple of weeks as teams drop out. Are they a good team that's performed badly at times, or are they a bad team that's
Have
performed?
they performed that badly?
Well, this is the discussion.
I don't think they've performed that badly.
So
they've been up at 3/4 time in 3 games. The Gold Coast game, I think it was, Fremantle game, and Adelaide. And if they had got all 3 of those, clearly they're on top of the ladder. So I think they're a good team that has had lapses, to answer your question, this year.
So I think that's the sharpest I've heard Craig McRae at a press conference. He was honest and open and angry. And I just want to touch on the playing group because he is spot on. They didn't bring the effort that's required to win an AFL game last night. That was a subpar approach to a game of footy. Now I'll give them an out because it's 5 days and there's a little bit of speed out of the team, but when you look across their 23, As a player, in the old days, you used to talk about you got to bring your boots, you got to bring effort, you got to bring application, and you got to bring adherence to the system. You got to play your role. We call it role players now, or your roles. Now these days, you don't even have to bring your boots. Everything's supplied for you, right? But you've got to bring a base level application and effort. They didn't bring that last night, and it's been a long time since we can say that about Collingwood.
Can they physically bring that?
Yeah, they can.
So that's the question. We've seen it, and they were well managed, and they did it well at the start of the year and throughout the majority of the year. But now, has the wear and tear of a group that, on average, is 29.8 years old, the oldest we've ever seen, with a few injuries, with DeGoey just trying to manage him 60 minutes last week. They asked him to play, nearly double that last night. Clearly, the reliance on Nick, he saw, started on the bench, which, I don't know, call me old-fashioned, but that's bizarre. Start your best player on the bench and he got stuck there for 14 minutes because of the concussion. Like, why would they start Nick Dacos on the bench?
Yeah, I
if
can't
he's not
answer that.
right to go, don't play him.
I think he's at the level where he's right to go. This is the discussion. He's at the level where he's still okay to play, but he's had to take some shortcuts during the week to get to this point. So he's put his hand up clearly to play. He's not right. He didn't have the power last night.
On the bench.
Well, I don't know why he played 70% of game time, so he was clearly or 76% of game time was clearly impacted. He's just not the same player at the moment. So I'll give him an out because he's carried the load. He's been 43% of their scoring in the last 7 weeks.
This isn't criticism of him. It's criticism of the management. Like, if he's playing, he's playing, and he's starting in the centre bounce, and he's going to get them going. To be so cute like that. Start him on the bench. You go, okay, well, if he's not good, he's not good. I saw him in the warm-up. He was ducking out and he was getting treatment from the trainer. If he's not right, don't play him. So there's some desperation, I think, now at selection.
Would you play him this week then?
Well, it depends how he...
Well, you say he has the same week. He's going to have the same week.
Well, if you play him, you start him. So if he's not right to go, don't play him. So I think to answer your question, no. If he's not physically ready to go, don't play him.
I think their better players got taken to the cleaners last night. We talked about Newcomb's been out of sorts for a long time. He just made them look silly in the middle. Meek just destroyed Darcy Cameron. He took him to the deep water a couple of times. They were smart how they used the ball. Hawthorn, they didn't blast the ball back to the intercept markers that usually involves Cameron and more. They were rattled by Howe going down early, but it's not an excuse. I'm not making excuse. People think you're making an excuse. I'm just saying these are the facts with Collingwood. Do I think that they'll be better than this in the next few weeks? Absolutely, I do. 5-day break, lack of speed. Howe goes down early. You can make excuses. Now, the coach didn't make excuses for him, and they won't make excuses themselves. But they're the realities, and we just talk honestly. We've talked about the fact that they're relying on Nick too much and couldn't have put that more on the table the last couple of weeks. 43% of scoring the last 7 weeks goes through Nick Dacos, and they only seem to score if they get their handball corridor-centric game going, and they haven't been able to get that rolling.
I mean, it's pretty dire, though, if you are relying on Jeremy Howe at 35. Like, I know he's important, and what you're saying is accurate, but so the concern that I've got, and I said this at the start of the year, is it is this year or bust. So if you don't win it this year, it is dire. It's absolutely dire with their list, with the risks that they've taken. No club has ever taken risks like this with their list management. You've gone and got Perryman and Houston. You've
What's the other option?
A lot to get Houston. Well, you have to start the rebuild and start adding.
Simon Goodwin did that. Look where that got him.
Yeah, well,
got him in the arse.
Well, where's it going to get this group? Because
what's the other option for
at
Craig
least
McRae?
Simon Goodwin has a core group or had a
He's
core
gone,
group
mate.
or the
He's
next
sacked.
coach. Yeah, I know, but how's it going to look for Collingwood? So what do you think the next 2 years is going to look like for Craig McRae and Collingwood if they don't win it this year?
I think Melbourne have shown us you might as well have a throw at the stumps.
But what do you think it's going to look like?
The same as what Melbourne's going to look like.
No, it's not, because Melbourne is going to look a lot better in 2-3 years' time than what Collingwood is.
Because of 3 draft picks.
No, they've got to give me Collingwood's best under 23s. Give them to me. There's no one. There's no draft picks coming.
I think Nick
There's
Dacos
nothing.
is pretty handy.
Yeah, Nick's good. Yeah. I know that.
I think he's worth. He'd be worth all those 3 you're going to mention at Melbourne. Won't get within. They won't even see his shadow.
So you're confident in the future of Collingwood if they don't win it this year?
I'm confident that they'll build and go again.
How?
Because that's what happens.
In what way? Give me the strategy on how they can revitalise this list, other than the likes of Jack Silvani, who's going to come in and plug a hole for a year or two.
Because I think it's worth the punt. I mean, Collingwood fans out there, you tell us, is it worth the punt to have
that's
another go?
That's okay, as long as
But
you
you
know.
gotta-
As long as you know how dire this is going to be if you don't win it this year. If you win it this year, no worries. You got another one, happy days. Then you can stomach that and you go, okay, well, gee, that was
They're
worth
hard to
it.
win though, mate.
I know they're hard to win.
Yeah,
I know,
so-
but when you take a risk like this and when you are as all in as this, like I've never seen a club before, 29.8 years of age, the oldest ever, you've traded away the whole of the future. Don't give me picks, give me players, and then it starts to unravel before we even get to the finals. You've got to put this on the agenda. You have to. And we did it at the start of the year and we're doing it again now. This is going to be dire for this club if this season continues to peter out like it is right now.
So, all right, crystal ball, and we are held to everything. This is Fireball, so let's not dance. Where do they finish next year, year after, year after? I don't think they'll fall off the cliff. I think they'll keep recruiting
I think they will.
like Geelong have done over the last few years. They'll use their picks and they'll try and find elite level
What
talent.
picks? They got no picks.
Well, futures. They've got future picks. They've got future picks.
Right.
And you can get aggressive with that now. And
So keep trading them away and keep adding.
Players want to go to Collingwood.
Yeah,
it's a bit like Geelong.
that's the bonus that they've got, and that's the advantage that they've got. You're playing in front of those crowds at home every week, well resourced. I get it. So they have advantages that other clubs don't. I get that, and I've spoken about that in the past. But I didn't have them in the 8 this year. I was wrong on that for this reason. Now next year, when you add another year to Pendlebury to Sidebottom, if they lose a couple, Sammy Edmund tells me Jamie Elliott's looking around. John Ralph tells me Bo McCreary's looking around. Someone else tells me Mycheck's not happy. Imagine losing a couple of those as well. Like this is getting
you can't lose
concerning.
Yeah, I agree with that. You can't lose them, and that's why it's everything you win at AFL level is full club. You need the recruiting department to do the right thing and not upset the apple cart. So there's a bit of pressure on Justin Leppich running around handing out $1 notes instead of hundreds and expecting players to sign. That
Darcy
creates
Cameron.
a tension, right? That maybe they can't handle at the moment. So just be careful what you wish for with the Uncle Scrooge behaviour.
Particularly to the much loved guys that have done the job
glue
before.
guys.
Yeah, like the Mychecks of the world, which we spoke about last Friday, I think it was when we spoke about
But
that.
there is no other option in this system. This is my point. There is no other option.
So
tell me Simon Goodwin did the right thing by Melbourne, and I'll go no worries.
Keep kicking the can down the road.
Well,
then,
that's
dude.
the only other option. That's the only way to play.
What Geelong have been able to do is their additions have been prior to their prime. So when you look at the additions to that team, and then yes, you find some, but
They gave away 3 first rounders for Jeremy Cameron.
Yeah,
Is that kicking the can down the road?
They weren't. Well, Jeremy Cameron is a once off.
Is that kicking the can down the
Well,
road?
it's a once off.
But is it kicking the can down the
Well,
road?
no, because they still went to the draft and they still found players that are of an age they're going to be there for 5-10 years.
Who'd they
Bailey
find?
Smith. Ollie Henry's a young player. No, he's not
Why
setting
can't
the world
Collingwood
on
do
fire.
that? Why can't Collingwood
De
do
Koning,
that?
they got through the draft.
Why can't Collingwood do that with the Bailey Smith type acquisition?
Because they don't have the draft picks to go and get
They
him.
will next year. There's futures picks.
Okay, so another year down. They don't have any now.
That's what I'm saying. Kicking the can down the road, I don't think is a bad philosophy
Okay,
because
so you're confident.
don't put words in my mouth.
No, no,
I'm just saying there's no other option in this system.
No, but is it going to be fruitful for them? This strategy.
Well, I didn't think
Is this
Geelong.
Fireball?
I didn't think Geelong would have been where they are right now after having won the flag, doing this 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So there is a way. I still think there is a way through this. And the competition says if you want to go down the other path, you have to rebuild. That's a 6-7 year window. McRae's not there for that. Anyone that's there now, all the players, they're gone. You got to turn the page on 30 players. You've just been through it. I think they had 3 players that were less than 100 games last night.
Yeah.
And one of them was Nick Dacos.
So to my point, it's dire. If you don't win it this year, it is dire. I've never seen anything like. I've never seen a cliff coming since this at West Coast.
Yeah. Well,
You wouldn't have thought West Coast would be in the situation.
but you got
they're
no
in now.
choice to have a go. This is my point. The system says you got no choice
That's why
but to have
this
another
year
crack.
is so important. This year is so important, and it's looking pretty dicey. The collision between John Newcombe and Jeremy Howe in the opening minutes of the game last night. Kingy, you wanted to discuss this. Clearly, it's a big talking point. How'd you see it?
Well, I thought it was a genuine footy accident, and like most people would say. And the first thing that comes back at me is, okay, what was Stephen May?
Yes.
Why is his incident so different to John Newcomb's? And I think it's a line of sight discussion. I don't think John Newcombe had any idea that Howe was there at the start. Whereas I do think that Stephen May had an idea that Francis Evans was there. So that's where I sit. I'm not as convinced on others that he was tackling. I just think the force of the collision almost thrust his arms. It took his torso, so his arms wrapped around as just a matter of course. But I'm not sure where you sit.
Like that. Oh, I thought he was tackling. I thought Howe gets there first. He gains possession of the ball, and then Newcomb's instinct is not to bump or brace. It is to tackle. And yeah, my initial thought was it's a footy accident. Unfortunately, in the game, there are accidents. That was one of those. It was horrific. And Jeremy Howe, of course, all our thoughts are with him, and he was out before he hit the ground. Then he had the double whammy of the head hitting the ground as well, and he was unconscious for some time, which is always frightening. But it was great to see him conscious and being taken away to hospital. So, I can't see him playing again for the rest of the home and away season. But I don't think John Newcomb's got anything to worry about.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't. My toughest of the week. Can I have a tough conversation with you about Dan Houston? What has happened to his kicking? I've got no problem with the rest of it, right? Not getting enough footy, yep, can work on that. Not running hard enough, not covering the ground. His GPS would be awful, I reckon, the last 8 weeks. So you can work on that. You can challenge the player. And Craig McRae said last night he's not calling for the ball. Lots of excuses, right? You can work on all those things, and you can expect a better performance from a gun. He's a gun in our competition. He's not this season for a whole host of reasons. But he's kicking. I've never seen him as lazy and as flamboyant with his kicking. The switch that hung in the air, the kick into the corridor that was a 9-iron that should have been a flat 3-iron. He coughed up the ball 4 times by foot, and 3 of them cost goals. That is not the Dan Houston we know.
I said this on Monday. I've never been as wrong about anything than that. So the previous week against Brisbane, it was 11 touches and 4 free kicks against. He's hardly gone over 15 touches a game this year. And when he did start to get the footy in his hands, I think he had 10 in the first quarter, clearly there was an instruction, we need to get Houston going. So there's a couple of 1-2s, there was a focus to give him the footy, but he's coughing up handballs. His kicking, as you say, and identify, has been poor and so costly because the ones he goes for are really tough, and then off the turnover you're so vulnerable. But he's not covering he looks heavy to me. He doesn't look like he's got any level of speed. I was so adamant and confident that this guy was going to be a star and fit in perfectly for Collingwood. I don't know. Maybe they need to run him through the midfield. He has played as a midfielder for Port Adelaide before. Maybe they need to pull that trigger.
How long ago was that?
There was always arguments. It would have been 3 or 4 years ago about does he play midfield or half-back. So I'd like to have a look at him through there, but physically, he just looks like he can't go.
Start having a crack at your kicks.
Been a disaster. Favourite time of the week is in the gun time. If you want to put someone in the gun, let us know. 0433 98 11 16 is the place to do it. I think we may have broken the record for the most texts we've ever received this morning.
We apologise for not reading them.
Crazy out there. So, ballers, we're seeing them. We're monitoring them. Apologies, we haven't gotten to all of them, but we love your support and keep them sending through. Last week, Kingy.
Yep.
You had 4 to the floor in the gun.
Yes. And, well, no.
Yes.
No.
The more the better.
Geordie, we're friends. If this
just
plays,
a little taste.
If this
just
plays,
a little taste.
I'm giving you 15 minutes. That's it. I thought they were okay. I think the 4 tools have worked to a point with Sam Mitchell, and you agree.
Yeah, to a point, yeah. Well, it's really difficult. I don't know who to leave out. Because Chol
that means it's working.
Is my boy, and I think he's excellent as a second ruck option, so they like that.
I
like Lewis as the power forward, and then I think Gunston and Adil are pretty mobile. So last week I had Gold Coast in the gun for playing Took. I've got to say, Took looks sharp.
Yeah. So is there a reversal? Are you taking it back?
Sometimes. I don't want to go too early because sometimes it's the second week syndrome. It'll get you.
Got it wrong, man.
But Took looked... He looked rock hard. He looked like he was covering the ground exceptionally well. He's a physical specimen, Took Miller. So
to the naked eye, maybe he should have been going Will Day, not Took Miller.
Perhaps I got that wrong, but I just want to see it for another week.
Oh, no, don't have a go at the genius.
In the Gun is for Grays.com, Australia's leading online auction marketplace. Guess who I'm putting in the gun this morning?
I can't wait.
Craig McRae for his smart aleck behaviour a few weeks back.
in our eyes, we thought Fremantle were really, really good when they needed to. When they needed to get the job done, they really came hard. They play good brand of footy when they're up and going fast, isn't it? Like, maybe they should play a bit more of that at times. It's a good version of them.
Yeah, well, you know what? Since that comment where he had a crack at Fremantle's game style, they kicked 93 against Richmond. It's their only win in the last 5 weeks. They then kicked 65 against Brisbane and 46 last night. So since he has had a crack at Freo, your boys and their game plan, they can't score, they can't defend. So Craig McRae, for his smart aleck behaviour and his crack at an opposition team, is in the gun.
He's in.
Yep. First time, I think, for Craig.
That's
and
a bit harsh.
He deserved it. It's not harsh at all.
It sounds a bit harsh to me. We want him talking like that, don't we? Don't we want content?
I think you've got to be respectful of the opposition just after you've been beaten.
Yeah, well, I'm not with you there. But that's not a rarity.
Of course you're not.
Okay, all right.
Who you got?
I've got the midfield of the Brisbane Lions who come off the bosom of Lachie Neale this weekend. The Swans can do it in the guts. The Swans can do it.
It's a danger game.
The Swans can do it in the middle. Warner, Heaney, Rowbottom. He needs to do a bit more. Yes, I accept that, but he's capable. Errol, we talk about Grundy going crazy in there. I want to see what they're like without the general in there leading the way. So McCluggage gets the second. Will Ashcroft gets the third. Dunkley gets the second or third, whichever. Whatever the mix. Exactly. This is what I'm looking for.
Does Rayner go in there?
Off the bosom of Lachie Neale,
Does
can you
Bailey
deliver?
go in there?
Do they need to have those guys go in?
Don't mind it.
Roll on with the status quo?
Do not mind it.
Look, let's be honest. The games are not blowing my mind this weekend.
No. Which game are you excited about?
I'm narrowing in on that one.
What about the Thursday night curse? Like, we think we're going to get an absolute ripper.
I tell you, I nearly put in the game.
And it's 10 goals.
Your mob.
Why?
Sacking Thursday night footy in a couple of weeks.
You think that was
you
think that was a poor business decision, do you?
You've been beating your chest for 6 months. Oh, you're live and free on us on Thursday night. Come with us. Come with us.
What game would you choose?
Give me the reverse music.
Would you
beep,
choose
beep, beep. We're giving it the arse.
Essendon and Carlton, or would you choose
I don't care. Thursday
Brisbane,
night footy has
Hawthorn
been a staple.
to get in the finals?
Come and watch us.
Yeah.
Oh, choose me and hang around
you
for
know
Nick
what
in
you
the
should do?
post-match.
Because you only release your numbers when you say that they're good. How about you release all the numbers? And I want the numbers for that Thursday night game on Fox. How many will watch that?
Well, more than
You'd
what?
be lucky to get 100,000.
100,000?
You'd be lucky. You'd be lucky.
You really don't have much of an idea about the numbers.
Well, your biggest number was 380 for the year.
Well, they're all getting more than 100,000.
Your biggest number was 380.
380?
Yep, that was your biggest number that you reported earlier on in the
380?
year. 380? Yeah, the Collingwood Geelong game.
No, I think you're...
It's a drop in the ocean.
Anyway,
good luck. Good luck with that Thursday night game. We'll be in Brisbane on Sunday. So you famously redid the Kate Roffey interview with Jared on what she should have said.
Yeah.
What should Tom have said after Eddie introduced him like that?
Well, I think we can sign off that he's not Adam Gilchrist, right? He's not
a walker?
He's not a walker. He should have said, Ed, look, I understand where you're going, and I was strong, and I was very early in the piece.
I was close.
But I wasn't the man that broke it. That would have been magnanimous. He didn't have that in him.
That would have been admirable.
No.
I mean, a silver medal's nothing to be sneezed at.
Next time Feathers comes in here, we're going to have a chat about that.
Correct.
You got to put your hand up.
You got to put your hand up. I nicked it, Ed.
Yeah, I'm going to walk. Sorry. He just rolled on like it was not a problem. Come on, man. Come on.
Gee whiz.
Oh, you'll correct that, though. I would be staggered if you didn't go to Twitter and say, you know what?
I mean, it's a bit late.
No, it's never too late to put your hand up and just say, look, I'll get the silver medal on this one. Well done, Jay. Jay got the gold. I'd be staggered if that's not up before the end of the day's play.
I've been shocked before in this game.
No. I am backing him in.
So I think what needs to happen.
What needs to
David Zeta style.
Yes.
I reported this. It was incorrect at the time. I need to be better. I apologise.
Yeah, it's knocked seats around a little bit, that one.
Just a quick tweet.
His first one he's broken for about 2 years, seats, and he had to retract it.
That's all and he was right as well. He still apologised. Admirable from our boy, David Zeta.
Come on, Tommy.
Hey, you want to speak about Melbourne?
Well, I want to have a chat with you about where you see the next opportunity. Who now they've made their call, tough call, and They arrived at that in a weird and wonderful way, but let's not argue that. Let's argue what's next. Where would you be going? Would you be going for the tried and true, given that that really hasn't had a lot of success over the last decade?
No.
Or would you be going for the fresh, young, new voice?
I want to go slightly left field,
Oh, I like this already.
and I think Danny
Not
Daly's
Ken.
ready.
I thought you were going to go Ken.
No, I'm not going to go Ken.
Or Chad.
I'm not going to go Ken or Chad. Danny Daly is ready. In the
Danny
Chris Fagan mould, Chris Fagan's right-hand man, been incredible for the culture there. Awesome way that he's built the list or helped build the list strategically. Very, very sound. Has played a number of roles within a footy department. Very media savvy as well. So with the Chris Fagan mould, slightly different avenue to get there. I get it. But finally, we've got it out of him that he wants to be a senior coach. I think he'd be outstanding as Melbourne's next senior coach. I'm not sure about his how wedded he is to living where he's living and all of that. So you've got to factor all of that in. But with us, he's put his hand up, and I think he'd be awesome to have that opportunity and a very steady hand for the Demons. What about you?
Well, I only go on other people's opinions with and endorsement, and I think Sean Grigg, I think Daniel Pratt, and I've got a special
go
spot for Craig Jennings.
Untried.
I like untried
Yep.
because I just don't. I haven't seen the other option work. And if you've got to talk someone into doing something, is it as effective as having someone jump out of their skin to get that opportunity?
What about the counter to that is Hardwick at
Yep.
Gold Coast? You'd say that's probably working.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good discussion. But they had everything. Didn't
They
they?
did.
They're probably a unique
They had a few blessings.
example. They had a few blessings.
Yep.
You might have touched on them in the past.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm a fresh voice.
All right. I
I'm
wanted to
hearing
speak.
the feathers did come through with Tim Watson yesterday.
Right. Put his hand up.
Corrected it.
Did he?
I haven't seen anything.
Can we chase that? Or can we chase that?
If
Because
you have-
if
if
he
it's
has done that,
If
then
it's
we've
not
got to
in-
put our hand up.
No. He had an opportunity to stop Eddie, and he didn't, and we need to call that out. That's what we do here.
I want to put on the agenda. I was interested in the 22 under 22 squad breakdown and how many players does each team have in the squad. So the positive of this, if you are flying and you've got a number of guns that are under 22 also in your lineup, and I look at Adelaide, Michael Aney, Curtin, Saligo, Rochelle, top of the ladder.
Yeah.
With a good core
Good.
group of under 22s
Strong.
coming through. I look at Brisbane, Fletcher, Wilmot, Ashcroft, Morris. That is frightening when
Yeah.
you look at Brisbane and the riches that they have got. That's the positive, how good a shape they are in. The Hawks, Weddell, Ward, Ginnivan, Watson, good shape for my Hawks. We know Gold Coast in good shape. Andrew, Yuleland, Humphrey. There's another Yuleland coming, I think. Look out. But if you're not in the 8 and you've got 0 featuring in the 22 under 22, what are you doing? Carlton, 0. Not in the 8. Where is their next genuine star going to come from? Maybe Jagger Smith, but you've spoken about the reliance that he's become a Hall of Famer without even playing a game. Sydney surprised me. Sydney, 0 representatives from the 22 under 22, not in the 8. That's a concern. West Coast. Now, some would say Jinby should have been referenced in this, but Harley Reid, the only representative for West Coast. What is going on? How dire is that going to be when you're down the bottom and you've got 0 representatives in this, or just the one with Harley Reid? So I just wanted to factor that in, but just look at how frightening it's going to be for both Adelaide and Brisbane, and what a great job they've done.
Can I give you the counter view? Not many
What's
would have
the counter view?
not many would have thrown up Worrell at this time last year.
No.
So you do have an opportunity to find and discover from
Yep.
what's existing on your list. So I like your point, and you just hope those clubs you've mentioned have got 2 or 3 that can rear up. I think that the young fella just did his knee at Carlton, Farrell.
Yes, O'Farrell.
O'Farrell.
Yep.
I was going to say Farrell. It's O'Farrell.
Yes. That's got me before.
He would be one that I would be putting in there.
Yeah, and I
hopefully.
look at Richmond, and they've only got 1 with Seth Campbell, but they're coming.
Yeah.
The Tigers. So the Tigers, I mean, this time next year, I reckon
Yeah.
Richmond will have 5. And that's a good position for them to be in. The Blues are sticking with Vossi. Happy?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm
yeah.
happy. I think it's the right call.
I'm just reading why I've got bias for saying.
Don't worry about. Don't get
I
distracted.
like they come up with some good topics.
I know that, but just in an ad break, you can look through them. We'll park them to the left. We'll come back and discuss them. Right now, we're in the middle of a conversation.
Sorry,
about
I got
Carlton
distracted.
and them sticking with Michael Voss.
Like it.
Yeah.
Fresh intel around him. Time for change. Spruce it up.
Yeah.
Move on a couple of players. Shake the tree with
how
the list.
aggressive?
Shake it until
So we're
someone
talking
falls.
Mackay, we're talking Walsh, we're talking Curnow. How aggressive?
Well,
Because Vossi don't want to get rid of them. Vossi's going, give me the best, most experienced squad that I can go with. Because right now, I'm the coach that's under most pressure heading into next year.
Vossi needs to come out and say this current, not publicly, but to those that matter. This list is not going to get it done before we need to turn the page. I would be moving on Mackay. You're going to lose TDK. There's 2.
Silvani.
Silvani's 3. You're going to get something for those guys. Get aggressive. Package it up. You can't lose Curnow. I think that he has to stay. And Walsh is their only gut runner. What would you do?
I'd be resetting. Yep. I think Walsh is the one with the value.
Would you lose Wiedering?
I think they had the opportunity to do that last year.
I'm resetting. Would you ship him out for a first and a second rounder?
Not when you lose Silvani and when you've got O'Farrell out for a year and you've got Haynes who's pretty old. So how are you going to? I mean, these centre-half backs that can intercept don't grow on trees. We've seen that. Look at Collingwood's back line. They'd be crying out for a Wiedering type. So if I'm Michael Voss, I don't want to lose Jacob Wiedering.
Vossi don't want to lose any of them, but I think the committee need to set this up for the next opportunity. I'm just not sure everyone gives them that.
So I know you said it needs to be in writing, but we've uncovered the audio.
Oh, hello.
Of Tom Morris. Now, let's just have a listen. We will forensically analyse this on the other side.
Oh, yeah.
Jay Clark and yourself both tweeted it out almost at exactly the same time, but Jay got you by 5 seconds.
He
Is
got
that
me.
right?
Yes.
Right.
Just earlier.
Okay, so you didn't report. Did you know that at the time? Because you didn't report that it wasn't exclusive, did you, at that time? You just reported that he'd been sacked.
Yeah, I didn't use the word exclusive.
No.
And I told Channel 9 on TV, don't say that I broke the story.
Right.
Because I didn't.
Okay.
Right.
Well, that's a softening.
That's
a softening.
No, I want it. Where he's
the
blue tick.
And I'm only satisfied if it's a Zeta style tweet because not everyone heard that.